welcome back to Miss Henrik's video demo and welcome back to school. Today I'm going to show you how to make pretzels. So let's start with our mise en place. So some things that you'll need just a little bit of butter for greasing a bowl. This is where you'll let your bread rise. Maybe about a tablespoon. You'll need some flour, yeast, and just a little bit of sugar, some salt, and warm water that you can just get from the tap. And then eventually you'll need an egg for an egg wash, but that will be the next day. Now to start, you're going to get 3/4 of a cup of warm water. Warm water is going to be between 105 and 115 if you're making bread. So you could just turn on the tap to hot. It should be just warm to the touch, or you could use your thermometer and measure that out. So this is 112, which is, well, it's going down already, but 112. So now I'm going to add my 1 1/4 teaspoon of dry yeast. Just sprinkle that on top. You want to stir it just a little bit, just so that the yeast is all wet. Yeah, try not to get too much off. And then you want to let that yeast sit for about 5 minutes. Alright, so while you're waiting for your yeast to inoculate, which is basically, it's dry yeast, it's coming back to life, so it'll get all dissolved and a little bubbly. While you wait for that, you can sift your 1 1/2 cups of flour. And also add your salt and the sugar at this time. Just, let's see, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And a teaspoon of sugar. So the sugar is important because the yeast will eat the sugar and help your dough to rise. This is what your yeast will look like when it's ready. All the little particles are dissolved and there's little bubbles breaking the surface. So now that is ready. We're going to put this liquid in a bigger bowl. And you could have inoculated your yeast in this bowl to save some dishes. And then you're slowly going to add your flour mixture to the liquid. And you can just fold the flour in. And it should get, and you're going to have to use your hands, so make sure that they are clean. Okay. So mix until it becomes a dough. Alright, so you're going to need some extra flour for the surface and for your hands. The flour will help the dough from sticking to your hands. So once you have a ball of dough, you'll take it out onto a floured surface. And then you're going to knead this dough for 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, so got the dough coming together. It's pretty sticky, so you want to just sprinkle flour on a little bit at a time. And use your bench scraper if you have any dough stuck to your surface. Just scrape the dough up. Really easy. Stick it back to the ball of dough. Add a little bit more flour to your surface. And just keep kneading. So once again, you just push down, fold over, turn, push down. Whoop, a little sticky. So add more flour. Fold it in, turn your dough, push down, fold it over, and keep going like so. All right, so now this ball of dough is nice and smooth and elasticy. So you just gather it up into a ball, and then you take a greased bowl. So take a little butter, either with your fingers or with a plastic spatula. Just grease the bottom of the bowl, up the sides. And then just grab the ball of dough, put it in there, cover it with plastic wrap. Make sure that you label your dough, the bowl, with your kitchen color and period number. And you're going to let this just rise for 24 hours until you come back the next day. If you're doing this at home, just a couple hours until the ball of dough has doubled in size. So it's the next day. You're going to come into class, find your bowl. Your dough has risen at least double, maybe triple, depending on whether you leave it out on the counter or put it in the refrigerator. I put this in the refrigerator. If we have space, we can do that. So let's see what we're going to need today. We're going to make an egg wash. So you'll need 1 egg, a little bit of water. You're going to need a little bit more flour just for working with the dough so it doesn't stick to your hands or the surface. You'll need some coarse salt or molding salt, which is just salt that has a little bit larger of a crystal, and then mustard to eat your pretzels with if desired. So let's start. We can use our little bench scraper just in case. And we'll take a little flour and put it down on our working surface. Of course, with your clean hands, you want to get some flour on your hands. And we'll just take the dough out. Okay. No need to knead this at all, but we're just going to divide it into maybe 12 to 16 pieces. So cut that in half. All right, so let's start with one of these, the rest to the side. And you're gonna roll it out. So just gently roll out your dough. So pressing lightly in the middle and working your way out until you get a rope that's about a foot long. You can use your rulers for that. Okay, kind of just gently pull it. And then you want to make a pretzel shape. So just fold over and fold over again. It's like a little bow. Okay, so you want to lightly grease your baking sheet. So you'll just take a little bit of butter, your clean hands. You can just rub that room temperature butter all over your baking sheet. Okay. And then you'll take your pretzels and just lay them on your baking sheet, leaving a little bit of space in between each one for your bake. My pretzels are ready to go into the oven. Last thing you need to do is make an egg wash. So that would be 1 egg. With just 1 tablespoon of water. Mix that all up. Okay. And with your pastry brush, you will just paint the top of your pretzels with the egg wash. And this will give it a nice glossy sheen. It will also kind of brown your pretzels. And third, it will help your salt to stick. So just sprinkle a little bit of salt on top, not too much. And keep going with painting the rest of your pretzels. All right, and now these go into your preheated oven at 450 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes or until it is golden brown. And here is what your pretzels will look like when they're done. They rise a little bit, so I actually made a tighter little twist there to make my pretzel. Here, this one looks more like a pretzel. And then also I wanted to show you, I made some cheese pretzels, and instead of greasing the pan, you could just lay down parchment paper. Makes for a much easier cleanup. So then enjoy. Hope you learned a lot from this video demo. Good luck on Thursday and Friday when we cook, and thanks for watching.